Aware that no, because of COVID-19, no, schools have stopped, colleges have stopped, but learning and sharing of knowledge hasn't been stopped. And we are glad that no, we are having eminent personalities being invited to share their knowledge related to soft skills and life skills. Today we are going to have a session on how to say no, which is very important. As you know that, because some people are not able to tell no, and they're been into a lot of troubles, and they're not able to make themselves better, and they are facing the stress. Now we are going to have a session by CD Gaddiel, who is a soft skills and communication skills trainer, and he has got a decade of teaching experience and training experience. He is a facilitator and also trainer. He does a lot many programs on personality development, soft skills, communication skills, self management, and social awareness. I'm glad that he has accepted to deliver the session on the most important topic: how to say no to make others more happy. Now I invite Gaddiel to take the session on how to say no.
Thank you so much, sir. I would like to thank Maheepathi sir for giving me such a wonderful opportunity to share the stage with you all. And I'm glad to share and talk about this wonderful topic. And the topic would be how to say no. And before that, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Gaddiel, and I'm from Hyderabad. I have got a decade of experience training different kinds of students from rural areas or urban areas. And I don't say a motivational talk today, but I would like to say that it's a lesson because I believe motivation is just for a moment or two, but when it comes to lessons, it's for a lifetime. So let's start our topic and how to say no. And before I start this, I would also like to tell you, and I would want the session to be interactive. Yes, I understand I would only be given last 10 minutes to talk to others. But however, I would want you to make a note of any questions if you have in your mind or if any doubts in the middle of the presentation. Right? Okay, so now when I say how to say no, this is one of the greatest hurdles in my life which I've passed through because most of us do not know how to say no. Is it right? So most of us have a fear of saying no to the request. It can be a request or it can be a demand or it can be an order. So there are few common worries of saying no to others. Might be can be a kind of help or it can be a request by someone or an order for someone. So when we talk about this, there are few common worries, as I said, and the most important worry is antagonizing people. When I say antagonizing, it means people are worried about, I mean, you are worried about people saying that this man is not helpful or this woman is not helpful. Or for example, if I say no to someone, I may feel that people may dislike me or might hate me or they might be dividing me from a group, right? So this is one of the greatest worries which people always or often have. So how to overcome this is first and foremost point which we all have to make a note of. Another one is a fear of power or authority because when your boss or your superior or your senior might tell you or ask you something which you actually cannot do, but still you have to say yes because you are worried because she or he might be your senior or your boss or your superior, right? And the other part is the sympathy because most of our friends might be poor. For example, when I talk about someone asking you money, you might feel sympathetic, saying that if you cannot help him or her, there is no way out for them. They might be in big trouble. But again, you're putting yourself into trouble sometimes by helping others or by saying yes to them, right? And also the other point which I would want you to make a note of is lack of skills or personality because most of us do not know how to say no. And that makes always say yes to others. And when talking about the other point, I would say that's justification because moreover, we would like to say that I would like to say that if I say no to someone, I might not be popular or I might not become famous. or my relationship with others might not be better than the way it is right now. So these are few things which actually which were hurdles to me in my life, and I slowly and steadily practiced and overcame them. So now I would like to tell you how to say no or how to react to this kind of situations. You do not have any options apart from saying yes, right? So the first one is saying no is not that an easy job. It's a tough job wherein you'll have to practice. But actually, if you say no to a person where in a situation where you cannot say yes, you're reacting positively to the people. You might be thinking that if I say no, they might think negative, but this they will be thinking negatively at just for that moment, not for the complete life. But again, they will understand that yes, this person said no only because he is not helpful to me at this particular point of time, and he's not lying to me. He's authentic, he's realistic, and he wants me to choose the right path instead of me walking by through a negative statement. So if you say no, then when you're not in the position to help them, it is actually the right way, because people will start thinking positively about you, and you will have optimistic mindset towards others, and they will have an optimistic mindset towards you as well, right? And sometimes what we tend to say yes, but actually in our inner hearts, we feel that I shouldn't be saying yes to him or her. It is actually a no from my end. But still, you are convinced to say yes because, as I said, you might think that they would justify you on a wrong ground basis, or they might think that you're not helpful, or they might think that uh, this person is not in our group. They might divide you, they might kick you out of the group. It happens. But the thing is, it is actually a negative thing which goes through in your mind as well as their mind. So you will have to stop thinking negatively and start saying yes to yourself by saying no to others when you're really not helpful. Right? I hope you're getting my point. Let me know if I'm going too fast or if I'm too slow so that I could adjust my pace.
It's fine, Gaddiel. You can go
Okay?
ahead. It's fine.
Great, great. So when we talk about these no's, this is a simple two word when we say no, but it can make different changes or it might lead to disasters as well in your life. But if you're responsible towards it, then definitely not only you're helping yourself, you will also be helping others. And you'll be in such an optimistic position where people will get inspired by you. When you say no responsibly, they will understand that this guy is taking an initiative to make me understand that this is not the right way to do, or this is not the right thing to do. So when you say no, give them an option to understand that there is another way too to handle the situation. For example, if someone asks you, most of us talk about monetary benefits, right? So we, at this current situation, when we say most of us do not have salaries or do not have enough money to spend during this lockdown period. So you might be asking your friends, or they might be asking you to help them financially. But everyone is in a similar position. So now, who can help whom? But you are afraid or you are scared about if you say no, then your relationship might be spoiled. But again, so there is a right way of saying this. If someone asks me for financial help, I would, if I'm in a position where I could help them, I would definitely help them. But if I'm in a position that I could not help myself, then there is no way that I could help others. So I would say responsibly, but I would say that I am not the right person, but definitely I would help you to guide to the right destination. Instead, I will request you to download a few apps where you can lend some money, and once you get them, you would definitely pay back. So what's happening here? You are happy, The person whom you're helping or guiding him or her is happy, and also the vendor is happy who's giving them money. So this is one kind of a way where all of us are being benefited. So everyone is happy at the end of the day. Your relationship is well, your fellowship is well with others, your friend is happy with you, and the banker who's giving loan is also happy with you. It's just an example to walk you through. But this is how you be responsible to others. And as I said, if you do the right thing and if you direct them to the right source, then you would definitely be an inspiration. And I'm sure that once you do this, the assurance of the quality of your thinking and your work will definitely be appreciated. And moreover, you can make everyone happy ultimately. But saying yes, but actually saying when you want to say no, it is actually creating a false. It is actually creating false expectation on others. Like for example, similarly, if someone asks me for help, I would say, "All right, give me some time. I'll get back to you. Call me in 15 minutes. I might help you." And after 15 minutes, I switch my phone off because what was there in my mind that I wanted to say no, but I couldn't. Then what did I create? A false expectation. Now, this is how your personality is being spoiled. So, what we have to do, we shouldn't be creating false expectations, and we cannot suppress emotions. Most of us play with emotions or suppress emotions, which is actually not the right way to do. And ultimately, you're risking everybody, including yourselves, and that no one of us will be happy about this because you're risking everybody by saying a fake yes instead of saying a no. Now, what? How? Like when you say no, what is an alternative? Like you should be there should be an alternative once you say no, right? You cannot say no bluntly. You cannot be rude to others because if you do so, definitely everyone would think that this guy is rude or this man is rude. How can he be so straight to me? This is not the right way to express how they think. But according to you, it might be just an expression. For them, it's an expectation. So if someone plays with their expectations and emotions or ego, they would not accept it. So whenever you say a no, there should always be an alternative. And most like alternative, as I said, you should always give them an option. And you can also, and most importantly, you cannot say or you should avoid negative sentences. You cannot say you shouldn't be saying I cannot do this. It's not my way. This is not in my book. These are not the right words because they're pretty arrogant. It shows your arrogance, not your helping nature or not your personality. So there's a thin line between attitude and personality. We may know or may understand. The personality is what we have from our childhood. But what is attitude? Attitude changes from person to person. For example, if I'm talking to a person who is in higher authority, the way I approach him, my attitude towards him is different. But when I talk to a person who is inferior to me, my attitude towards him is definitely different. The attitude with your friends is different. The attitude towards your mother and your father is different. The attitude towards your superiors are different. The attitude towards your colleagues are different. But the personality, what you have, remains the same. So I would like to resemble personality with the character, not attitude with the character. Your character is from your childhood, but your attitude changes accordingly based on the person whom you talk to. So you should be positive. Make sure that your attitude doesn't dominate your personality because attitude might change, but personality never. Because a person always tends to judge someone on the attitude, not on the personality, because you're not same with everyone. Most of us are not like Mahatma Gandhi, right? Because Mahatma Gandhi is a kind of person who is equivalent to everyone. He talks to every person in a same or similar way, but not us. We tend to talk differently with different people, right? So now, when when we avoid negative statements like "I cannot do," "I'm not the right person," "Please get back," have somebody help, have someone to help you, not me. "I'm not the right person." This will definitely hurt them. So you shouldn't be doing this. You should be, and you should make sure that the person is not hurt, but he accepts that he accepts you in all means. So how would you do that? You should use positive words. You should say, "Hey, buddy, how did you think that I might help you? Thank you for having faith in me, but I'm not the right person to do it right now. But in future, I may be." So you're just thanking him first, saying that thank you for having faith in me. So you're building up relationship and also telling him or her that, see, thank you for having faith in me, but right now I may not help you in future, but I would definitely do it. Right? So when you tend to say no, if someone asks you something, first things first, if you can't say no directly, buy some time with them. Say that, okay, give me some, I will get back to you. But there will be a TAT, a turnaround time. Make sure that you're getting back to them on time and stating that if you're able to help them, you can definitely help them. But if you're not able to help them, tell them, see, buddy, I cannot do it now. But if you buy time from them or if you take time from them and get vanished, then that's a disaster. You'll have to rethink. Have a scale judging on 1 to 10. If you're in a situation, make your situation noted on a piece of paper. Make it from 1 to 10. If you get a grade of 6 and above, you can help them. But if you're getting lower than that, then you or yourself are in crisis and you cannot help them. So get back to them and tell them, no, I can't do it.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, yeah.
All right. So now use external sources to say no. So external sources can be anything. Like you might say, see, I have some other commitments, so I cannot help you right now. So I have a meeting, I cannot come to a restaurant with you. There are so many external resources, but make sure those resources are true and not false, because you cannot fake people. If you're faking to others, you're not truthful to yourself. If you're comfortable with yourself, you will be comfortable with others. Make sure you're comfortable with everything what you do, then others will accept you. So when most important thing is you should avoid few things while saying no. You cannot delay. If you delay, then definitely there should be a problem because people will be expecting from you. If someone comes to you for a help, they have expectations. So you cannot delay in saying a yes or a no. And don't give them unclear messages. Maybe is most dangerous. I consider it as the most dangerous word because if someone asks you something, me something, I will never say maybe because if I say maybe, then it's may not or maybe. So it's like Telugulo antar kada, it's like goda mida pilli, something like that. Neither here nor there. That's the dangerous part. It cannot be unclear. You be straightforward. If it is a yes, it's a yes. If it is a no, say no. Now let us, when talking about these things, yes, I believe you have an idea of how to say no to others. But there are few situations or few things wherein you will have to say no to yourself for making your life happier and healthier. So do we say no to ourselves first before saying it to others? It's a question to all you people out there who are participating in this session. Have you ever dared to say no to yourself before you say no to others? As I said, practice makes man perfect. Unless you say no to others, to yourself in few situations or scenarios, you will not be able to do that to others. For example, as I said, there are so many things which we need to focus upon. But I have few things to share with you all guys today where we will have to say no to ourselves. Especially, I would like to start it off with talking bad about yourself. You cannot blame yourself for anything. There are ups and downs in your life, and you cannot enjoy the brightness of the sunshine unless you see the darkness of the night. So life is not just as smooth as we think. It's a kind of hurdle, and if there are no hurdles, there is no race, and if there is no race, there is no winner. So, whenever something bad happens to us, we should not be blaming ourselves. It's like, don't be a victim of negative self talk. Remember that you're listening to yourself. Before someone listens to you are listening to yourself. You should be answerable to yourself. So you cannot be you cannot be a victim of a negative self talk. So please never do that and never complain about yourself. తెలుగులో అంటాం కదా మనం అయితే నా లైఫ్ ఇంతే నేను ఇంకేం చేయలేను నేను ఇంతే. So if you keep complaining about yourself, it's a never ending story. Your brother or sister, just get out of that zone. Instead of complaining, start making a route map to success. Because it's a very old saying, but it's a great saying. Failures are the stepping stone for success. Yes, if you failed one time, then other time you will definitely win. As we all know, KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken. And this guy is an amazing guy because he was making this chicken from the age of 10. But when did this happen to be successful? When he was 65 years old. There are so many people like this. We have Einstein, we have Edison. Instead of continuous failures, they are the ones whom we consider as fathers of science. So what was their point? The point was to keep trying instead of complaining or talking bad about themselves. Now, we always tend to focus on the past. Why do we do it? Why do we always focus on the past? And we also ensure that our future follows our past. This is the biggest mistake we always do. We should stop focusing on the past. Yes, focus on the positive things instead of negative. But, but, even that is to some extent. Because every day is a new day. Every day you see a new life. That's how you make up your life. So instead of focusing on the past, let's plan for the perfect future. So we say no focusing on the past. Now, we always tend to do that. Even I used to do that. Now, comparing myself to others. So even most of us do this. We're comparing ourselves to others. As we all know, Bill Gates says that if you compare yourself to others, you're disgracing yourself. You're insulting yourself because you are a masterpiece and you are unique from others. That's how we should think. I am a masterpiece. That's what I believe in, and you should also believe the same. So no to comparing yourselves to others. Now, what we tend to do, we always try to impress someone or the other. Do you think impressing someone will affect your life or your career? According to me, no. But what according to me is right is being true to yourself is better than a liar just to impress everyone. Instead of lying to someone or instead of making fake trials to impress someone, it is always better to be yourself, true to yourself. That's how you change your life. So, no trying to impress others. Now, perfection. Everyone wants to be perfect. But are we? In the race of this perfection, we tend to make mistakes and we tend to hurt others as well, where many things happen. Can be cheating, can be bribery, can be anything. So while falling trail for perfection, we end up making so many mistakes. So make sure that you're not running behind perfection. And I am a kind of person which I used to do in the past. I used to overthink. This is one of the dangerous disease. I call it as a disease because we overthink a lot. For example, uh, when I was asked to take this session, so called me and he asked me like whether if you are interested to take a session. I said yes, I would definitely do that. Then he asked me like what is the topic you want to think about or talk about? And I said so give me some time. I would get back to you. Probably got I took about 30 minutes or so because I was driving. Then I thought of sharing this topic. Now I didn't make any notes about this because I know because this is my experience and I'm not overthinking about it. I'm just ex- expressing my experience. It's just a simple example. Not only this, I never overthink about anything in my life. I just take it the way it is coming, and I'm just ready to take up the challenge. But I don't overthink, and I don't get overwhelmed about this or anything. Now, when I say overthink, when you overthink, you start taking things very seriously, and when you start taking things very seriously is good enough, but very seriously is harmful. Like we say, uh, ఏదైనా కొంచెం వరకే anything of too much is too bad. Like what we say in English, right? Anything of too much is too bad. Too much happiness is also too bad. Too much sadness is also too bad. And overthinking is too bad. So make sure that you're not overthinking about anything. This is about self. But when it comes to habits, you should be saying no to few habits. Like I would say watching TV. I would like to ask you one question. Now, is watching TV a hobby or a habit? I would like to differentiate something. I would like to differentiate between habit and a hobby. Hobby is something what you do in your free time. Habit is something which is like others. It's in your blood and mind, your body and soul. And nowadays, I would not say watching TV, social media has become a deadly habit to others. People are not just getting used to it or not treating it like a hobby, but trust me, they're taking it like a habit. As soon as they wake up, open the phone, Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram, status. What is this for? Is it changing your world? But trust me, if you delete Facebook or any social networking apps from your phone, or all the social networking apps from your phone, and call me up on that day, I would say I'm giving you 1 hour extra in your day because at a minimum cost, at a minimum, people would spend 1 hour on social media sites. I'm talking about minimum, and there are people who spend about 6 to 7 hours. But it is not going to change your world, my dear brothers and sisters. It's gonna change your world in a different way, not in a right way. Anything in life can come back, but not time. Time is very important to us. And apart from social media, other thing comes is gaming. We tend to play games like PUBG these days. People are crazy, and it has created havoc, great destruction in few families. When parents are not allowing their kids to play these kind of games, they're attempting suicide, they're threatening their parents, and there are few cases where kids are beating up their parents for not allowing them to do or not allowing them to game. These are deadly habits, and we have to say no to ourselves before we indulge into it. Now, I would also like to talk about health, which is a major and a serious concern these days as we are in the time of crisis. We I would especially talk about unhealthy food as we take so much unhealthy food and make ourselves ill. The same unhealthy food has actually started coronavirus, as we all know. And unhealthy food leads to diseases, and diseases leads to loss in a family. And you should not be skipping your meals. Can be your breakfast, can be your lunch, can be your dinner. Like your stomach needs food to operate your body, and your brain is only active when you have enough food in your stomach. And if you do not have enough food in your stomach, your brain doesn't work properly. And that's where the memory loss comes into place. The other thing, which is a dangerous thing, saying no when you talk about sacrificing your sleep. Don't sacrifice your sleep for anything unless it's an emergency. You can watch a movie tomorrow, if not today, but you cannot sleep tomorrow or today. Today's sleep cannot be taken forward tomorrow. So every day is a new day. So your brain needs enough rest. And this part is a major concern for me because even I'm not good at this. I skip exercises. Though I walk about 3 or 4 kilometers or 3 or 4 kilometers every day, but still I feel it's a major difference. You should exercise your body every day, which will not only keep your body active, it will also keep your thoughts, your brain, all you all about you active. So being active is being knowledgeable. Being knowledgeable is being like a star in the sky, always shine. Right? Okay. Hope I'm not boring you, but this is a kind of conversation which I would always love to share as a first part because it was a major hurdle to me, and I did overcome this, and I'm proud to say that I did. And this is one of the issue with most of the teenagers in these days when talking about relationships. Never indulge in any kind of relationships very soon. Because, yes, relationships are good, but not at the cost of your career, not at the cost of your integrity, what I say. Because I believe a, in a saying which says, great minds discuss ideas, average minds discuss events, and small minds discuss people. If I'm right, I believe the saying is right. So we shouldn't be small enough to think about peoples and relationships all the time. Once you are in a better position, people will tend to follow. But if you're not in a good position, they will not even allow you to follow them. So make sure that you invest the right things at the right time, in the right place, instead of spending so much or spending worthless time or on a fake relationship. I would request you to spend some quality time in your career and your future. Now, when I talk about work, there are a few things which we'll have to know, say no to them, like focusing on results. See, when we talk about results, uh, I get, it seems very funny to me when I see an ad that says, Okati, 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 Rendu, 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 Mudu, 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 some Sri Chaitanya, or I don't want to take the name of the college. But it sounds funny to me because they are worried about results. But results will not change your life, my dear. Results are temporary, but what you learn, the knowledge what you learn, what you gain is permanent. If I ask someone what we had in intermediate, what is Newton's third law of motion? Everyone would say there's an equivalent for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. But when I say what is Newton's first law of motion or second law of motion, then people will start thinking. Because Newton's third law of motion, we use it at every instance. and that's like a knowledge to us. But first law and second law of motion, it was only for the results what we have studied. It's just for the sake of exams, right? So we were just focusing on results, but we were not focusing on what we have learned. Now, motivation from others. Now, there are so many people who would always like to be motivated every time, all the time. Few of my friends call me and say, Gaddiel, I'm feeling low. Please motivate me. Now, my answer would be, how long this motivation would last for? A day? Two? A week? 15 days? For 1 month? After that, you'll call me back and ask me for the same. I tell them, buddy, I'm not a motivational speaker. I would like to share my experience, which has to be a lesson to you, where it will last with you forever, so that you don't have to call me again and ask for motivation. You should not be motivated by others. You should be self disciplined and you should be motivated by yourself. And if you motivate yourself, then there is no other machine in the world which can beat you. And the other one is sitting idle all day long. This is one of the dangerous diseases, guys. You should never ever do that. You know what? When I call someone and ask them, "Hey, buddy, what are you doing?" They say nothing, and I get irritated. So if you're sitting idle, say that I'm sitting idle. If you say that if you're watching TV, tell me that you're watching TV. If you're walking, tell me that you're walking. But never say that I'm doing nothing. Nothing is like sitting like a statue and moving nowhere else, and there is no physics involved in it. So if there is no physics involved in it, and all that day is ruined, and one day of that might cost your life. So make sure that you don't sit idle. Do something or the other. Do something or the other. Yes, sometimes it's good to relax, but not all day long. And now, most of the common things where I am a very eco friendly person. So I usually say no to plastic. And please say no to plastic and don't buy things that you don't need or cannot afford. This is one of the most important things which you'll have to make a note of, my friends. If you cannot afford it, please don't buy it. You will fall in trouble. And if you don't need it, don't buy it. What's the point in buying something when you don't need it? You buy it, say about it might worth about a lakh or two. You buy it and keep it aside. Is it helping you by any means? And it is not helping you. What is it worth for? Even though it costs about 2 lakhs or 20 lakhs, it doesn't mean anything. So don't buy things that you don't need, and don't buy things which you cannot afford because uh, I would say that if you are buying something, it's not with your money. It's about the number of hours what you have struggled for in your life. So you're investing your time when you're buying something, not the money, because there's so much of hard work which actually made you earn that money. So make sure that you don't buy anything useless and you don't buy anything which you cannot afford it. Say no to those things. So this is one of the short sessions. As this is my first session, I wanted to be a short and a brief one because uh, this might actually make you understand how things will move on with me. And I hope this session was a learning experience and would definitely bring some change in your life if you implement this. Thank you so much, guys. You can ask me if you have any questions.
Yeah, thank you so much, Gaddiel. It was a wonderful session. You poured out of your heart. I can say that now the experience, the way you shared, it's
Yes,
awesome. Like now, every point was noted and well taken. And also, you said that no, you compare everything with the time and what you are going to do. And the most important thing is not only saying no, how to say no is very important. Thank you very much for that. It's open for the Q&A. If anybody would like to ask any questions, they can ask. Nishant, Rajiv Kumar. I'll
Hi, I'm Rajiv.
hello, sir. I'm Gaddiel.
It was an It was a nice lecture from your side. Just I
Thank you,
want to
sir.
say, many a times because of the social bindings, we are not able to say no, or otherwise, the way we have been brought up, that stops us to saying no. How to
Absolutely.
overcome that? How to overcome that?
Yes, sir. As I said, it is actually again a social bonding in the society what we are brought. So it starts from you. So you start making a change to it. Because if you follow the same tradition, even the next generation would do so. So by the techniques and the steps which I've told you, just try to implement them, see if it works, and if it doesn't, we'll think about another one and try to implement the other. But you'll have to be brave enough to say no first. So if you want to do that, you'll have to leave that traditional ideology which we have born and brought up through.
Very true.
Yes,
Very true. We will have to come out of that feelings.
absolutely, sir.
Then only we will be able to do that. Otherwise, it becomes really difficult. Once we always start thinking what the person who is in front of us, what he will think about us.
Yes, sir,
That's
absolutely.
the problem. We are not able to overcome of that feeling.
So
Anyway, thank
instead, I would like to say that instead of sitting as a passenger, start thinking like a pilot who can drive a plane.
right, 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 sir.
So if you can start it, then people will definitely follow you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Pleasure is all mine, sir.
Thank you. Nice talking, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rajiv, for the question that you asked, because as we know that that's very important. Most of the times we think about other people and will not be able to say no. But as you rightly said, that in Indian culture we are not trained to say no. People think that to say no it's like arrogance or something else. Now, as Gaddiel rightly said, that we need to practice. You should be in the pilot mode and you should think in the same way. Then we'll be able to make things happen. Thank you, Rajiv, for the right
Thank
pertinent
you, sir.
question and.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Gaddiel. Thank you. It was a wonderful explanation given. And I'm sure that no, there are only
Thank you.
compliments, no queries are there. No, everybody feels like your session is awesome and great. Thank you so much, sir. Nishat Begum says the
Thank you.
topic is very good, sir. It was a great session. We enjoyed it and we learned a lot and we try to implement them in our day-to-day life. Before we conclude this session, I would like to know, Gaddiel, how can they start in simple steps, baby steps? Now, are there any baby steps that they can follow to say no? As you rightly said, that it was an exhaustive one. You said that how you need to say that, you need to say the reason why, resources, and all. Are there any concluding remarks for the baby steps to start with? Because those these are the steps which you would like I would like you to share for those people who have never said no in their life, no? Because you know that they face a lot of stress and they are undergoing a lot of stress and they're not able to make it better. So, can you share any baby steps for them, starting, simple things like that?
Absolutely. So the taste of fish starts from your home.
Right.
So when you want to implement something, try doing it with your family members first, because there is no pain or gain with them. See their reactions, how their reaction would be, and then you can take it forward. So do this with your close ones first, who can understand you. Then you can implement it with others.
That was a wonderful session. Okay, thank you so much. Because we are not going to lose much over there. They understand and you understand them slowly. You can make yourself comfortable saying no to the other people, and especially in the professional environment. Now, there's a need of the hour because of not able to say no. They're facing a lot many challenges in their life. Thank you, Gadiel. Thank you for saying that how to say no. The power of saying no is also very important. And how to say no is not only a statement that you had many things added to that. So the time, the way how you say and reasons that you carry with yourself and how you convince the other person and all. Thank you, Gadiel. Thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing the session on Maheepathi Talks. Thank you. Thank you very much.
My pleasure is all mine, sir. Thank you so much for this opportunity again, and I'm always there if you need any sessions like this.
Thank you so much. Thanks a lot. Thank you,
Thank you.
Rajiv Kumar sir, for joining with
Thank you,
us.
sir.
Thank you, Nishad. Thank you.
Thank you.